My mother didn't die of an heart attack, at least not in the way the doctors claimed. It was late at night when I heard her scream. Not just a startled cry, but a piercing scream that tore through the quiet house. I ran down the hallway, my bare feet pounding against the floorboards, each step echoing like a drumbeat. When I pushed open her door, the sight burned into my memory. My mother sat upright in bed, hands clawing at her chest. Her eyes were wide, frozen in a terror that made my blood turn cold. She tried to speak, but only a rasp escaped. She was alive in that moment, but the fear on her face said everything. By the time the ambulance arrived, her body was still. The paramedics tried, but it was no use. They ruled her death cardiac arrest. But I know what I saw, and I know my mother didn't die from her heart giving out. Something else was in that room. You see, my mother had been warning me for years. She told me stories, whispered at night, about waking paralyzed, unable to scream or move. She said she felt something heavy pressing on her chest, like invisible hands pinning her down. She swore she could sense it staring at her, feeding on her fear as it waited for her to give in. When I was younger, I dismissed it as bad dreams, sleep paralysis maybe. But after that night, when I looked at her body, I began to understand. Her skin was cold, her limbs stiff, and across her chest were faint bruises. Not random. They looked like fingerprints, hands pressing down with crushing force, hands that weren't hers. After she died, the house didn't feel the same. The air was heavier. Shadows lingered too long. The silence wasn't peaceful anymore. It was suffocating, as if the house itself was holding its breath. I started waking in the middle of the night, gasping for air, my chest aching, my skin damp with sweat. More than once I swore I heard footsteps outside my door. Slow, patient, waiting. Desperate for answers, I searched. Across cultures, across centuries, the same figure appears. The old hag, the nightmare, a dark presence that perches on the chest of its victims, crushing the breath from their lungs until their heart gives out. It wasn't just myth. My mother had lived with it for years, and in the end, it claimed her. But here's the part that keeps me awake. The part I can't escape. I don't think it's done. Some nights I wake to find myself frozen, my eyes open, my body paralyzed. My chest feels like it's collapsing. And in that darkness, I remember her face. The wide, frozen eyes, the silent scream she couldn't finish. That's when I realized the truth. The thing that killed her didn't leave with her. It just moved on, and now it's sitting on mine.